All right, we are here. We're here. We're ready. It's a long intro. I went to go do something quick and then I blinked and it was 5 minutes beyond what I thought it would take. Anyways, we're here. We're ready. So you're probably well aware that it's a Gaunt's Gold night, but we got a couple different things are going on with some of the players. So we just need to take the night off from that. Real life comes first, and that stuff's is far more important than rolling a bunch of dice and killing a few goblins. But I'm still available tonight, so I figured, well, we'll just sub it in for some of our Halloween month stuff that we're doing, and we may as well try out one of the other games that I really wanted to try. Now, last time we tried to play a horror game, and we got, I mean, it was a horror game, but we got emotionally sideswiped by by mouthwashed. So maybe that'll happen again. You never know. But today we're gonna be trying Daemonologie, which is not to be confused with Demonologist. That's a different thing. Yeah, I just wanted to, there we go. Okay, now I can hear my spooky music as well. Not to be confused with Demonologist, because that was a game we played last week, which was kind of like a phasmophobia-like. This is a completely different game called Daemonologie. Presumably named after like the dissertation from, like, was it the 1500s, something like that. I'm assuming. I don't actually know. I don't know what the person's influence was, but I'm assuming it was the thing from the 1500s. King James the sixth of Scotland. I know that he was King James of the first of England eventually, but I think he was King James the sixth, probably sixth, who wrote a book about demons and their contracts and effects upon man back in the days of like the witch hunts. Specifically, we're talking, I think, because this is called a Scottish horror game, Scottish folk horror. So I presume we're dealing with that. That's why I jumped to the Daemonologie by King James. But I think the influence here is like the Berwick witch trials. So, like old-fashioned like witchfinder stuff. I think it's a fairly short game, though it might be replayable. We'll have to see when we finish it. But I don't think it should take us much longer than an hour to play it. So we'll just see how it goes, and we'll see how long the stream is and how we feel at the end, whether or not we want to try to mess around with more stuff or just call it a night there. But yeah, let's give it a try. I think hang on, we'll go to the screen for a second. All right, there's no music playing, but we'll adjust the audio once we actually get in. This is the screen that it loads up to, and it actually made me really happy, because you can pick your language and you can put it in modern English or in like Scots English, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that a lot. We're gonna leave it in Scots English because I want to experience it as intended in the sort of like slightly opaque, ancient way. This is something that I always appreciate. Okay, I'm gonna go on a little bit of a tangent here. But a lot of times when you see people try to set movies, I'm using movies as an example, but obviously it applies to any media, video games, etc. Any sort of period piece that they try to do, and they always interpret it through their modern brain and just sort of write all the characters how modern people would be. Not to say that you're using like Zoomer lingo or anything like that. They're not like talking about like Riz and stuff. I mean, in some of them, there's probably some extremely cursed period pieces where they got them talking modern, and there's some where they, are just trying to poke fun or like do it tongue in cheek. But I'm talking about like serious period pieces where they reinterpret it through a modern lens, and I think that's more common of a problem now. But then every once in a while, you get some pieces where um someone like really delves deep into like what not just like what do things look like, how do they dress. Like I'm not necessarily talking about that, though that's obviously important to a period piece. I'm talking specifically like what would their perspective be on this, like how would someone who lived in that era see this story. I always appreciate that. So another thing that I appreciate is like using the language of the era. And so that's what made me happy about this. That was my tangent. Um, like for example, things like Robert Eggers is really good at this. The director, he's really good for this particular thing. When you compare things like The Witch, which I think The Witch is probably an influence for this game, um, and The Lighthouse, and The Northman. All three of those share the same thing of like a deep dive into the language of the era and treating it fairly just kind of as is, like using the detailed notes of lighthouse keepers of that era to write the dialogue of the film to be accurate to how like wikis or lighthouse keepers would talk in that era. I always appreciate that stuff. So we're leaving it in Scots English, but I do also appreciate that there's a glossary. So if we really don't know what the hell they're talking about, we can look it up. So I appreciate that level of diligence on the creator's part. Anyways, tangent over. We're leaving it in Scots English. So be it. If we can't understand it, that's fine. Cool. Oh yeah, this game is gonna be violent, by the way. There will be some torture. We're playing as the Witchfinder, not the other way around. So, content warning. Not the game we played. Content warning. I know everything's getting mixed up. But content warning. There will be some graphic violence most likely in this. Oh, loud. Six residents in a remote Scottish village. Witchfinders summoned to sort their truths from lies. On the fifth dawn, a witch must hang. Best you know who by then. Daemonologie. I'll adjust the audio a little bit. I think it's a little loud. It's a little loud for me. Turn it down just slightly. I want you guys to be able to hear it, but I don't want to drown myself out. I think my audio is from my other setup, from my other stream. Alright. That's a little better. I really like the visual style of this game. That was a really cool intro. I think that was just straight up claymation. That was not like an animated CG thing. I think that was actually claymation. So props for that, because that's time consuming if that actually was claymation. Maybe just the models were claymation? I don't know. Hard to say. But nevertheless, I really like the visual aesthetic of this. The music's pretty good too. All right. So we're the witch hunter. We gotta find a witch. Five days. That shouldn't be too hard, right? Should be all right. Oh, should we? Okay, two things. One, should we write things down? Should we write things down? Should we be like a diligent? Sometimes it's fun to just like get a notepad and write stuff down. I like games where they ask you to do that. Maybe we should just do that for fun. I can't remember if in the Steam store page there was a thing that told me to do that, and that's why I'm thinking this or not. Or maybe I just like writing things down. Listen, I'm a DM, okay? I like to write stuff down. Let me get my write things down book open. We'll make some notes. Oops. We'll take some notes. We're gonna be the most diligent witch finder who ever lived. Oh, my other thing I was gonna say. I'm gonna make a Charlemagne prediction. You guys know I'm good at divination magic. That's my whole thing. I'm gonna make a Charlemagne prediction about this game, and we'll see if it comes true, okay? So you guys can write this, seal it in the envelope, and we'll open it after the show to prove my magic trick correct. My theory for this game is I don't think they're gonna tell us if we got it right or not. That's my hunch. Because it's like a, you know, like witch hunts and were they really a witch? You don't know. That kind of thing. And was it just us abusing our power to harm innocent people? I think that's what this game is gonna do. This is me narratively predicting. So that's my hunch. I bet they won't tell us, which is why we're gonna be extra diligent so that we can be 100% correct in our assumptions. What if we just don't hang anybody? We just leave. Can we do that? Can we just leave? Seems like we got a time thing here, so I bet every time we visit someplace it'll like progress. And then... Oh, should we look at how... Ooh. Okay, so it's actually... Yeah, so it would be after... Because it was 1500s when Daemonologie by King James VI was written. So this would be after that. Gotcha. I think it was like 1590 something was Daemonologie. 6 residents in the remote Scottish village. We're gonna have to do a Scottish accent. Is that required to play this game? Maybe. It's gonna be bad. We're gonna do a bad one. But that's part of the fun. I don't think there's voice acting in this game, so I'm assuming since this game was like, I think it was just like a game jam game. But I presume there's not voice acting. If there is, then that makes our job easy. Anyways, you play the role of a witch finder and must interrogate them to sort truth from lies. There's 6 residents total. Okay, 6 people total. Noted. And we got 5 days. On the 5th dawn. So that's okay, got it. And you must interrogate them to sort truth from lies. If they are just repeating themselves, then you have permission to use further methods of persuasion, aka torture. Certain actions will cost you time. On the 5th dawn, a witch must hang. Best you know who by then. Each night, you will see prophetic dreams that may provide some insight hidden to your waking mind. I like that. Use the sundial and day counter to track how much time you have left. You got it, boss. Ooh. I don't know if we need this. We should not look through this ahead of time. We should just see if we can just do it. We should I kind of like just immersing yourself in the language and trying to figure out what they're talking about, and then we'll look it up if we're stumped. I really appreciate the glossary though. That's extra work that doesn't need to be done. You could have had an effective game without going full into the dialect of the era, but I appreciate the extra work. Okay, where should we go first? Forest? That's where witches hang out. We just walk into the forest and go looking for a witch. The circular stones, that seems witchy, right? The barn, maybe there's a goat, a black goat. The bridge, that's where the trolls hang out. No, that's not where the witches hang out. That's probably the hanging spot. I was gonna say a well, but that's probably not a well. That's probably where they hang people. And then okay, two different. Oh, maybe that's a church then. Maybe, kind of looks like it. No, not the farm, probably. Oh no, that's the church. I'm blind. So maybe house, farm, bridge, church, standing stones. I guess we'll see. It's like a fairy circle. And then let's go to the woods. We'll just walk straight into the woods, and we'll just run into the witch. Edge of woods. Oh, I can click. Old Kirk, Smith's abode. Ring of stones. Shepherd's abode. Okay, so the shepherds, the smith, so like the blacksmith, and Bothwell's crossing. You got it. Let's go to the edge of the woods. There's the witch. We got her. We got her, gang. Witch confirmed. Hang her. Guards, hang her. Hang the witch. We got her. Is she telling me that someone who looks as witch-like as that isn't a witch? I don't buy it. I think we got her, chat. I think we're good. Alright, let's talk to her. Just immediately. We got two options here, chat. What do we do? 50-50, flip a coin? Just immediately torture her. And just walk up to some old lady and be like, alright. Well, I guess we can't quite tell if it's an old lady. Old crone. Okay, so it is an old lady. Griselda. What kind of gobshite are you to be trespassing in my woods? Your woods? Alright, you sound a little bit more like a witch, ma'am. I don't think these are King James's woods. I don't think you own the woods, old lady. This village is full of witches, and I'll curse ya and all. Yeah, it's full of witches, but not you, right? Definitely not you, ma'am. Wait, we should write her name down. We got Griselda in the forest. Just pretend that I'm standing here in front of Griselda, and I'm taking detailed notes. A curse of boils on your filthy member and maggots in your arse. Ma'am, bite your tongue, woman, or I shall remove it from your head. Eh. And just what would ye be wanting with my tongue, eh? You dirty wee pervert. Alright, ma'am. Listen, we're getting owned, chat. We're getting owned by the old lady. She's absolutely roasting us. We gotta turn up the heat. We gotta bring out the torture implements so that we can save some face here. Absolutely, now gets by old Griselda. Not gets by old Griselda. All souls in this village have shared their kit with Satan. Take your pick, eh? So she just says everybody. She says everybody. Yes, noted. Everybody is a witch. Everybody is a witch, says Griselda. Noted. I believe her. All right, we hang everybody on day 5, including her. Because not because she's a witch, just because she was mean to me. She bullied me. Look at him. He's so sad. He's been bullied. Ma'am. Okay. I don't think that used any return plus time. So if we leave, we gain more time. Or we progress in time. But we don't really have anything else to do, so we just have to return. Could we try to... Oh, we could talk to her again. Okay, we might as well see how quickly people start to repeat information. Like if she says something new again, then we would know that they sometimes have multiple things to say. Curse ye, you filthy fuck. May your eyes burst with ants. I hate this old lady. We get roasted every time. And curse on that priest and all. Ooh, hang on. She says, oh, priest prays with his hands pointing down. Noted. Like he prays pointing his hands down like he's praying to Lucifer in the underneath. When did ye spy him doing this blasphemous act? Tomorrow. No, when have you seen him perform this act? Seen who? When did you spy him doing this blasphemous act, ma'am? Tomorrow. No, when have you seen him perform this act? Seen who? When did you spy him doing this blasphemous act? Tomorrow. No, when have you seen him perform? Okay, I don't think she wants to talk anymore, guys. Ma'am, I'm gonna need you to comply. Okay, we didn't actually spend any time doing that. She says the priest prays with hands pointing down as if he's aiming at Lucifer. In hell. Noted. Seems a little sketchy. Seems a little unorthodox, Mr. Priest. Should we go there next? At Old Kirk? Or should we try to gather more information? This is an information gathering game. We're doing detective work. We're Witchfinder PI. People who know this channel and know me know that I really like just doing detective work in games. Any game that trusts me to do the detective work, I appreciate. Things like Shadows of Doubt, Payne's Creek Killings, those kind of things. Where you actually get to do the detective work. Even Disco Elysium trusts you to do it a little bit. Or at least benefits you if you do the diligent work of actually understanding what's going on. Alright, I'm kind of curious about the Ring of Stains. Alright, she's a witch. She's a witch. Witch confirmed. We're gonna leave some space in our little notes. And in case we need to come back to Griselda, which we almost certainly will because we've got a lot of days here. I like the music here. It's too innocent though. She's definitely a witch. The music is trying to trick me. Ma'am, please turn off your stereo. Your music is too manipulative. Okay, so over here at the Ring stands, we're going to talk to a very normal looking woman who certainly is not a witch, even though she's sitting in a perfect ring of stones. Torture. Ma'am. Maiden Lilius. After all this, we're just gonna decide to hang the old lady because she's mean. And that's it. We just, well, if we don't know who the witch is, then we might as well just get rid of somebody who's really mean, right? Do our duty, make the town a little happier. Alright, Maiden Lilius. My, ye are the charming devil like. What ails ye, sire? There's nought my herbs and roots can I cure. Taught by my own dear mother. Who else resides in this village? Have ye ever communed with Satan? Have ye ever communed with Satan, Maiden Lilius? You ever get a phone call late at night from Satan. Who else resides in this village? Just a handful, my lord. The smith Oswin can craft or repair almost anything you present to him. An old crone bides by the woods, though she has some gay strange ways about her. I didn't know this was a Canadian game. Okay, so she says Oswin capable. Doesn't seem to hate him. Crony's weird, she says. I don't know if that'll come up, but we'll jot that down in point form. Shepherd Violet tended a flock with her husband, but I've not seen him of late. I wonder if they're having a row again. Violet. Husband missing. Missing, question mark? And then frequent rows. Maybe she killed him. Maybe she's a witch. Maybe she ate him. Also, father used to be keeps the kirk. Seek not salvation for him. Seek not salvation from him? No? Why not? His mind has turned to zealotry and worse. She also is accusing the priest of zealotry. Interesting. We just believe them all. They all just don't like the priest. What if they all knew I was coming? And they all just were like, oh man, that priest is kind of a dickhead. Let's just tell the witchfinder that he's a weirdo and that he's communing with Satan. And then he'll hang him for us. Priest it'll be interesting to talk to the priest. Okay, that's another strike against the priest. Of course, there's sweet Firin by the water's edge. He may look monstrous, but he's a kindly soul. She's very helpful. Have ye ever communed with Satan, ma'am? Me, sire, not I. I wouldn't even ken how. She wouldn't even know how to talk to Satan. Real. True. So, I'm kind of just a little curious about that. I think... Yeah, that's what I assumed. Wouldn't even know how or yeah. Kirk being church is interesting to me. I don't know the etymology of that one. Never heard that used before, but it makes sense. Return plus time. Can we talk to her again then? I like that we can talk to them again without time penalty. My mother is gone, but I carry on her healing arts in her stead. There is nae soul here who has not taken my healing, except perhaps the priest. Does kick at me with strange glances. See, this priest, eyebrow raise. Priest looks at her weird. Noted. Ah. I know he does not approve of my young love, Gavin. Pray tell who is this young love you speak of? My sweet Gavin, a stable hand for the next village over. So Faye like from. We'd been courting a couple of year now. Well, he saved enough to do right by me. Ye have not seen him on your way into the village, have ye? No, wench, I have not seen him. It's this option. Wench. Wench. No, wench, I have not seen him. We're kind of robotic. No, I haven't seen him. Oh. That's ominous. She seems fairly innocuous right now, which could be a red herring. But, you know, we've no reason to think anything ill of her at the moment. Let's go talk to some more people. Okay, so 1, 2. Should we go to the church now? Get the priest side? Or should we keep gathering? Is this going to bias us if everybody just tells us that the priest is messed up? And then we talk to him? Will that bias our viewpoint on him? Maybe. Let's keep going. I'm kind of curious about... I kind of want to talk to like everybody who seems innocent first, you know? Because she said there's a guy here who seems nice, and she said he's fine. No one said anything bad about him. Everybody's accused the priest, and she said that there's something weird going on with that. So maybe we'll gain a few more bits of information here and here, and then go here and then back here, and then repeat. Repeat with whatever we learn. Okay, let's make a new section for Smith's Abode. Talk to Oswin. Presumably. I like the atmosphere so good. I really like the art style. Ooh, the like clang. What is he? Is he wearing like a mask? He's got coffee. A little coffee mug. What's going on with your face, my friend? Torture. What if we just don't torture anybody? What if we just go, yep, priest is messed up, and then we just leave? Oh there, witchfinder. Good morrow, Smithy. Aye, it was me that sent for ye. That damned shepherd has cursed my jaw to fall loose. The shepherd did it. Why? Were you gossiping? Sir, were you gossiping? And also, what do you mean your jaw to fall loose? Though I strapped and welded it back on. Make sure to give that cursing witch the short drop. You welded your jaw back on, my man? Aye. Look what she has done to me. Sir, what do you mean you welded your jaw back on? There is no doubt this is witchcraft. What do you do here? A wee bit of this and a wee bit of that. Mostly house and plough repairs. There's scarce demand for cudgels and bucklers around these parts. Who else is in town? So he... Hang on. Blacksmith Oswin. We should write down that bit that he said about the Violet. We gotta do our due diligence. We're gonna be torturing people. If she's, at least have a good reason why. Says Shepherd Violet cursed his jaw. And he welded it back on somehow. Alright, now who else is in town? What do you think about everybody else, sir? You mean besides that blasted shepherd? Yes, who else? Well, there is the old priest Father Useby in yon kirk. Then there is that fishing fella who hangs out by Bothwell's Bridge. He's alright, like. And that saucy wee bit out by the fairy circle. So it is a fairy circle, I was right. Real. Okay. I'm a genius. Out by the fairy circle. Can I forget about that doolally old crone bides by the woods and all? Okay, so he doesn't really have an opinion about anybody. Hang on, what did he say about... So, okay, he didn't say anything about the priest. So he doesn't have an opinion about anybody but the shepherd. Fishing fella, he says that he's alright. Actually, we should note that. Says... fishing fella is alright. And that saucy wee bit out by the fairy circle. Not really saying too much about her. And he doesn't really have too much to say about the crone either. Alright, sir. You welded your jaw back on? Can I see it though? I want to see your like real jaw. Anyways. Goodbye. Oh, we should talk to him again. Yeah, I want to know more about that. The shepherd cursed me for she says the fence I built her was nigh good. Cursed because of fence. Not good. Just in case the shepherd gives us a different reason or tries to deny it. We need to remember that. She blames me for the wolves that got her sheep, but the fence is fine. Is the fence fine? Am I fence finder? Am I fence investigator now? I doubt she left the gate open, and then she cursed me for my jaw to fall off. Have you done work for this shepherd before? I like my obsession with detective games means that I'm just gonna get distracted and try to solve the mystery of who left the fence open. I'm still committing to my theory about the game's not gonna tell us at the end if we were right or wrong. It's just gonna leave us on the feeling of, well, it's your own biases, dude. You killed somebody. That's my bet. So all of this work might be for nothing, but we'll at least be able to rationalize our choice. Have you done work for this shepherd before? Only with her, man. I never had much dealings with her till he up and left. Do you know why he left? 'Twas peas in a pod, that lot. He still owes me a bobby and all. That's what? Money? I think that's money. I think I saw that when we were scrolling. Glossary. Scottish sixpence. Money. You got it. Fairy. From. Bides is live. We know that. Well, I don't think there's not too much stuff that I would be too unfamiliar with. Kind of got a good sense for most of this stuff. Saucy wee bit. Okay, so he was just saying that she's attractive. That's what I kind of figured he was saying. He wasn't saying that she's like behaving any sort of way. He was just saying she's pretty. We should write that down. Thinks very, just in case, because she said that she was looking for her Gavin, but that we didn't see him on the way in, so maybe he's missing too. Thinks fairy lady is hot. Real. Alright, so should we go down to the bridge? To Bothwell's Crossing? I gotta get our bearings. Okay, he does look creepy. They're right. He's like they're like he looks weird, but he's nice. Yeah, he does look weird. He's fishing. What you fishing for, man? Sir? Sir, you good? You alright? Okay. We're just gonna talk to him. Aye. Me a witch, eh? Fearin. Fisherman Fearin. Okay. Aye, me a witch, eh? No, but tall tales you daft weasel it. Find you no witches here. No? No witches? No witches here. So he says the exact opposite of the crone. He says none of us are witches. Just simple folk work on the land. Spied ye a queer thing of late. And what is your business here? Besides catching all these wee fishes, my business is my own. He's just catching his little fishies. He's catching fish. At one word, tread carefully, fisherman. As you like, sir. Spied ye a queer thing of late? Truly life itself be gay strange when ye ponder it. He just says life is weird. Life is strange, and that's the wrong video game, dude. I like his little song. It's kind of airy. I feel like this guy's either completely obviously a monster or he's just a red herring. And he's just a kind of hairy dude who's a little deformed. Because he feels like the obvious red herring, doesn't he? So he's got nothing else to say to us. But we can't return. Okay, we gotta watch our dream. Sheep. Perfectly normal sheep. Okay, we're doing like a wolf noises. We're doing wolf in sheep's clothing kind of thing. Oh. Is it repeating? I think it's repeating. This is our prophetic dream, right? So there's two ways to interpret this, though. Because you could be like, sheep, it's the shepherd. Right? But it's also the shepherd who... The sheep are being... That one seems like an evil sheep. It's like a black sheep. And it's like chanting something and then something's happening from the mouth. Now... Is it intentional that it's like jaw related? Because it's like in its mouth. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sheep. 5. But there's 6 people in town. Isn't there? We talked to 4 of them already. And we still need to talk to the shepherd and the priest. So that is 6, yeah. It's not counting the people who are said to be missing. When it says 6 people. Okay, anyways, let's wake up. So you could either say that it's like a wolf in sheep's clothing, that metaphor, or maybe it's more literal in the shepherd. But we'll lose time if we go back to this guy, so he wasn't being very helpful anyways. Maybe we ought to just move on and go to the shepherd, especially since we just had a prophetic dream about it. Let's head right there. Are your sheep good? Ma'am? Oh yeah, the wolves. And the fence. I gotta make a section for the separatists. Alright, let's, there's one sheep that seems alright. Oh, that sheep is Satan. Sheep is Satan. Absolutely. You're the witch. Alright, ma'am. Witchfinder, ye see the curse that has been laid upon me. That vile blacksmith sent his wolf familiar to slaughter my sheep. I demand retribution. Insight. Ah, see, we've gained that because we talked to Oswin. Maybe I should move somewhere else. If I'm blocking the dialogue, I should move. I will hide here. I think that's better for you guys to see. Oswin claims ye have cursed his jaw to fall off. Or, what do you do here? Do you love God? I love how, like, out there some of the questions are. Do you love God, ma'am? Oswin claims ye have cursed his jaw to fall off. Lies. Most likely he did that to himself in one of his failed experiments. What do you mean, ma'am? What do you mean failed experiments, ma'am? Please go into more depth on that. What do you do here? What kind of question is that? Yeah, she tends the sheep. I tend the sheep, man. What kind of question is that? Do you see? Look, I'm holding a crook. I got the little thing on me head. And look, see all the sheep standing behind me. Figure it out for yourself, Mr. Witchfinder. What do you think I'm doing? Yeah. Did you spy all them sheep as you walked in here, man? Exactly. Do you love God? Do you love God? Be real. Be for real with me. Do you love God? Honestly, the way of things these days, I'm inclined to ask if that prick still loves me. I'll have your respect, or by day's death I'll have thee swinging. Yeah, put some respect on God's name. All in jest, sire, I speak no more of it. Yeah, you better not. We talk again. Why do you tarry here while that blacksmith is still breathing? Okay, so she says, blacksmith has wolf familiar. Noted. Maybe have you considered, ma'am, that it might just be a wolf? Have you considered that though, ma'am? That it could just straight up be a wolf that just like walked in from the woods? Because doesn't mean that he was controlling it just because it was hungry. And that he does experiments. But I don't think she really said why. Why he would be so angry at her. I spied him yapping to his familiars, a slack-jawed raven and grey wolf. He sent the black wolf here to slaughter my sheep, for I refused to pay him for this feeble disaster or offence he erected. Well, hang on. Surely he could have just waited until the normal wolves got your sheep because the fence didn't work, right? Also, the fence is kind of destroyed also. He said maybe she left it open. To be fair. He said she probably left it open, but the fence is destroyed. So, that's not lining up, sir. It says 2 wolves, a raven one, and a gray one. I think that's what she meant. Because she says the black wolf, but maybe he just has one that is a little black and also gray. Hard to say. Maybe she just means evil when she says black. I don't know. Anyway, he sent his wolf familiar to slaughter her sheep because she refused to pay. Didn't pay for bad fence. Then I'm just going to add a little note here that the fence is destroyed. Not left open. Look. This does not look like it was left open. Look at that. So maybe we can confront him about that. Anyways. Should we... We did talk to her again, right? I think we did. Yeah, okay, that was there again. Noted. Alright. I think we should just talk to the last person so that we got everybody's perspective. Father used to be in the kirk. Let's give him his own section and let's go talk to him. In the old kirk. Basically the old church. Oh. Listen to this music. I think this guy might be the witch, guys. Listen to this ominous music. We just judge purely on instinct. We'll just judge everybody purely on how evil their music sounds. It's kind of pretty though. It's very churchy. It's just a very ominous sort of churchy. Alright, Father. Be for real with me. Everybody says you're a little loopy. Be for real. Bid ye welcome, Witchfinder. God be here. To what reason does our wee village owe the pleasure of this visit? Ooh, hang on. Another thing that I forgot to note was Oswin was the one who actually called me here, right? So this guy doesn't even know why I'm here and wasn't expecting to see me here. Or at least Oswin claims he called me here. But I don't see any reason to disbelieve that yet. Especially because this guy didn't call me here. You think if anyone, it would be the church that would be concerned with finding witches, but he didn't seem to be the one that called me here. Because he doesn't even know why. If he had called me here, or if he was trying to get rid of a witch, he would be telling me right now. I'm summoned to tend a wolf in your flock, Father. Interesting. So that we're still using the sheep metaphor here. A wolf in my flock, you say? Vexing news indeed. If ye may yet make use of me in your hunt, then pray let it be known. When you will, I am ready. How many reside in this village, Father? Hang on, I just want to note that he didn't know why I was here. There are 6 of us of late, though not long past we were 9. So +1 for the husband. Who else? Because she said he was from the village over her Gavin, so... So we've only noted 7 total people, if you include the missing husband. Ah. The blacksmith's wife sleeps in my garden. Fever took her this winter. So, blacksmith had a wife that died. Noted. The shepherd's husband fled, leaving unpaid debts. The wretch. So Violet's hubby fled. Unpaid debts. Or so he says. Noted. The ungodly whore by the ring of steins had a gentleman caller. Oh, the ungodly whore. He doesn't like... Oh, yeah, he doesn't like her. Had a gentleman caller. Well, none have seen him this week past. He really doesn't like... for some reason, just... you know, like when you say I was up at some ungodly hour, that's what like went into my brain. I didn't even register until he said Ring of Stains who he was talking about. Rude. She was nice to me. Maybe she was manipulating me, but she was nice. And that's what counts, Father Yuzubi. Simply be nice to me and I won't hang you. That's how I roll. Her name was Lilius. But he's missing. Didn't really say, they just said hasn't seen him this week past. How long have you served here? 4 and 10 years this autumn. Though it feels as 40. He's not given too much indication of the things they were talking about. Have you spied aught amiss of late? Hope that ye uproot the evil that plagues this land. Okay. So his main hate, everybody's a hater for a certain person, and he does not like Lilius. Violet does not like the blacksmith. Blacksmith does not like Violet. I'm just circling the people they dislike the most. Lilius didn't care too much about anybody, but she thought that the priest was a bit weird and turned to zealotry. So says Griselda as well. So 2 for the priest, 1 person for Violet, 1 person for Oswin, and 1 person for Lilius. Nobody said that Furin is bad. I've seen that filthy whore Lilius by the Ring of Stones, dancing with black shadows of a night. Well, you said she had a gentleman. Maybe she was just hanging out with some dude. Maybe that was the shadow you saw. We're gonna come back to this guy immediately. Sir, more questions, please. Witchfinder. For one hunting devils, ye are spending far too much time searching in the house of our Lord. So, you trying to threaten me there? Trying to imply something there, sir? I believe vermin rush the shadows, not bask in holy light. Terry here no longer. I exclude none from my search. There are others who would say differently. That's true, Father. A lot of people don't like you here. Which of these wretches dare speak ill of me? The very same you would point the finger at. Do not test me, witch finder. I'm a man of the cloth. That whore by the ring of stones is the witch, for she has slain 3 babes, no less. What do you mean by that? Sir, elaborate? Elaborate, please? Elaborate, please? Sir? What do you mean she killed 3 babies? Do you just mean like she's miscarried, though? Is that what you mean? Or do you mean like she took a knife to a baby? Which of the two are we talking about here, Father Hughes? Because there's a big difference. Just torture the priest. Which one? Which one do you mean? Explain. I exclude none from my search. He doesn't have anything to add. All right, sir. Okay, we've now talked to everybody. So we're going to need to go and revisit somebody. Who should we revisit? The 2 that stand out in my mind as being priority revisits are Oswin, so that we can ask him about what Violet said, and Lilius, so that we can talk about what the priest said. Those would be my top 2 revisits, and we should have time for both of them. But we're going to get to talk to one of them a little more. And we should start with that one, because I think the second one we might end not getting to talk a second time on. So let's do Lilius, because I feel like that's a little juicier. And then I'd like to talk to both of them. Daemonologie, can I stay up late tonight and talk to more people, please? I promise I'll go to bed early tomorrow. They're both kind of juicy. But I kind of feel like we should start with Lilius. Her song is so nice. Surely she's not evil. That's what the song is here. It's like a hypnosis. This peaceful song. Never mind. She could do no wrong. She's innocent. She didn't do anything. My mother is gone, but I carry on her healing arts in her stead. This nice soul here is not taken to my healing, except perhaps as a priest, who does kick at me with strange glances. No, he does not. We talked about this, ma'am. We've been courting a couple of years. No, wench, I not seen him. I didn't use my time. Do we have to torture her? Maybe we should go and see that, make sure that somebody else isn't repeating. If they're repeating, we have to torture them. What if we just leave? We just waste all of our days. Sir. She blames me for the wolves that got the sheep, but the fence is fine. Is it, though? She didn't leave. Yeah, she didn't leave the gate open, dude. When we saw the fence, it's demolished. Violet claims you sent a wolf to her door. That lion witch. There's no truth in a claim like that. Torture. Well, since we're not wasting time, we might as well go talk to more people before we start torturing. Let's go see if she's got anything else to say. Ma'am? Why do you tarry here while that blacksmith is still breathing? I spied him yapping to his familiars. We know, ma'am. We already know that. She's got nothing new to say. Let's go check in on... Let's just keep checking on people then. Are you still at that witch business? I can hardly confess to something I ain't. Come now, I'll fix us some nice trout or tuna flesh for supper. What's the nature of your affliction, sire? Well, from what I hear, father was the same way. My father was the same way. He'd the toe in hell. So he says this thing is just on affliction. His father was Harry too. I'm inclined to believe him. He seems pretty calm and casual about all this. I think he's fine. Talk. I guess we just check in on the old lady. She's gonna bully me again, but that's alright. Yep, we heard that one before. See, she's very unreliable about that. Very okay, looks like we got no choice here. We gotta torture somebody. Nobody's talking. Now, I have a million questions I would ask everybody, but the game is not gonna let us, so... So we're gonna have to just torture somebody because there's no leave option. There's no I give up. So we're gonna have to pick somebody, and I think between these two, one of them is lying. Though I guess it's possible they both just are jumping to the wrong conclusions. Not I shouldn't say lying. Lying's not the right word, but somebody's got to be wrong. But it doesn't necessarily. I don't think there's anything about the two of these people that imply 100% witchcraft. Like, this dude might just be like falling apart of his own like bodily afflictions, and this lady might have just got attacked by wolves, and because the guy was refusing to accept fault for the bad fence, she just doesn't like him. And is just assuming witchcraft because he sent the wolves. The wolf attack happened relatively close. Like, these two things could just be like purely happenstance. Nothing about it implies any sort of magical nature. This guy's just kind of vibing out. He's kind of chill, so we'll just leave him. Between the two of these two, I'm more inclined to believe her just because she didn't like attack. She didn't go for the throat in terms of the priest. She just said, yeah, he's a little weird. He's turned to zealotry. He's kind of strange. But whether or not she's manipulating us, that's impossible to say. But he was like, she's evil, kill her, which is a little more sus than just being like, yeah, that priest is kind of weird, dude. Go talk to him. I wish we had a choice to talk to her about what the heck she's talking about with the babies. I wish we can confront her about that. Hey, what's the priest talking about? What happened with the babies? I think let's between these two, his story doesn't line up, right? Because he said she must have just let the fence open, but the fence is destroyed. So either he's so lazy that he didn't even go look at the fence when she said it didn't work, in which case he's kind of a dick, or he's lying to us. Either way, I think if we're going to torture one of the two of them, we should start with him. All right, sir. The Pillywinkles. I feel like, doesn't that make it like way worse? If you're going to get tortured, it should be by something that's like sounds cool. If like you would want to get tortured by like the brain blaster, the man murderer or something like that, right? Because then you'd be like, oh yeah, I survived 3 nights in the man destroyer. I'm tough. But if you're like, yeah, they used the Pillywinkles on me, then that sounds embarrassing, man. Yeah, I caved to the pressure of the Pillywinkles. All right, Weenie Hut Juniors is down the hall, sir. I know this is gonna be horrific, but but the name is funny. A rather simple device that can be placed onto any of the accused fingers. Although thumbs are very effective, To loosen their tongue, you must tighten the screw. Left click to wind up and left click again with maximum strength to twist tight. Repeat this until you hear the bones crack. Real. Alright, you got it. You got it, boss. Alright, sir. Oh. We're doing rhythm game timing. We're playing WarioWare now. You just gotta tell me, dude. Tell me what the fence. Tell me why the fence is broken. Are you just a bad blacksmith? Tell me. Answer my questions. Turn your torches away from me and hang that shepherd witch. May she curse your jaw to fall off and all. Don't come greeting to me to weld it back on. You must have seen that wee lamb's head she severed at my doorstep. No, you should have told us about that, dude. Why didn't you tell me? And queer symbols in the poor wee thing's blood smeared all over my door. I saw blood upon the doorstep, no head. Believe me, I say it true. Come to think of it, I've seen them same symbols out by the old woods. Oh, Grandma? Oh, Granny? Oh? How interesting. Can we just talk to him now? Turn your torches away from me. Okay. So he's added now. Lamb's head. At door. Plus symbols in blood. We ourselves confirmed. We confirmed the blood. Which is a little sus. But no head. And he added that there's symbols near the woods. Noted. You should have absolutely told me that on my first visit, sir. I wouldn't have had to break out the old pillywinkles. We go back to this lady and be like, hey, what was that about a head, ma'am? Hey, ma'am, what was that about a head? Why do you teddy here? Yeah, but ma'am, have you considered that there was a head? Did we torture her? Wait, let's go visit the woods quick. And then we'll torture someone else. Symbols? Is that a symbol? Grandma? Grandma, where are the symbols? Tell me. Tell me! Tell me! That's our own form of torture. Just repeating a conversation with her forever. So we could torture Grandma, but I kind of feel like let's just wrap up the two of these. Let's hit her with the pillywinkles. Maybe something else. We might as well see what she's got to say. Hey, you want to tell me about that head? No? Okay. Tongue prongs. Alright, this sounds awful. Simple and certain way to loosen the tongue of the accused. Iron clamps are tightly... I don't feel like that's going to help. It's going to make it harder to talk, I think. Iron clamps are tightly attached to the victim's tongue and pulled firmly from the head. Left click and hold to start pulling the clamps. Release to relax a little. Don't pull too fast or the tongue will slip from the clamps and you have to start the process again. Okay. Ooh. That's a lot of drool. You good? That's a long tongue. Left click and hold. Oh, hold. At least relax a little bit. Okay, got it. Noted. Ah, I see what we're doing. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I'll put that back in. Hang on. I'll sew that back in. Don't worry. Don't worry. I'll fix it. Why is it you torture me when I tell ye it is the blacksmith you want? He is a fork-tongued liar and the witch that plagues our land. A foul buzzard who has given his jaw to Lucifer in exchange for the death of my sheep to try and drive me from this place. Why would he do that? Why would he do that? What do you mean? Why would he do that? He would exchange his jaw just to kill your sheep? I think he could just do it with an axe. It's just sheep. He could have just cut down your fence and let the normal wolves do it if he really wanted that. Would he sell his soul to Satan? Just to kill your sheep, ma'am? Ma'am, I'm gonna need you to start talking a little more about this. I'm gonna need you to start giving me a motive here. Why exactly would he do all this? So she says Smith sold jaw to Lucifer to kill her sheep and drive her from town. She doesn't say why. Noted. All right, ma'am. All right, bedtime. Give me another dream. Okay. Someone walking in the woods. An unidentified person in the woods. Doesn't look like any of the people in town. Ooh. I like that. Something growing. Okay. This is very different than the first dream. So, man walks in the woods. We gotta interpret. We got a dream journal. We gotta interpret our prophetic dreams. So, man walks around the woods. Sees a creepy looking witch. Witch does some little magic. And a tree grows out of the man. Okay. I don't... What would that... the sheep was like, okay, maybe we should check in with the shepherd, but what is the tree entail? I mean, the woods, I guess, but... We're gonna go all through this whole process, all 5 days, and we're just gonna hang grandma like we said in the first 5 seconds. So, I'm trying to think of like interpretations on that one, but that one seems really vague. The only thing I can think of is like something coming out of somebody's stomach or chest is like very loosely related to babies in a sense, but like not really. But it was also a man, I presume by the voice, but let's go to the woods because that's the closest thing that could be related. Plus, you know what? This lady was mean to us. Maybe she deserves a little pillywinkling. that's how we rationalize everything in this game. Mean to me? All right, torture. First we talk. Yeah, this is why we don't feel too bad. Mean. All right. Please tell me something. The Devil's Mark. Okay. To seal their filthy pact with the devil, he licks their body, leaving a blackened mark upon the witch's skin. This mark may hide just below the surface, but it can be unveiled with a pricking of the skin. Left click to pierce them until you find the hidden mark. But wouldn't that confirm something if we actually found it? Man. Stab. Granny. Oh, we found it. Wait. Yeah, alright. We got her. We got her, chat. The end. I am the witch, and I curse ye again. To be fair, she did kind of just like outright say we're all witches here, man. That shepherd and fishermen are filthy witches and all. They feast upon festering carcasses like buzzards or hell. Are you sure they're not just eating fish and eating like lamb? Because that's like normal, ma'am. Absolutely nout gets by old Griselda. She's saying nothing gets by her, is what she's saying. I think she might just be crazy. They will feast upon your festering carcass, and if you dinna tight their filthy necks. Granny, be for real with me. Are you a witch? Be for real. So she says, Granny says, that's the first time we've ever had anybody really accuse Firin of being a witch. Granny says, yeah, dude, I'm a witch. And then also says, Firin plus Violet are witches. I don't think that. I don't think that's. I don't think we're taking that one too seriously. I think we might be including a little grain of salt with that one, which is because they eat dead flesh, which most people do. All right, Grandma, I'll be back. Okay. The real question is, who do we torture next? I kind of feel bad torturing some people. I feel bad torturing Firin because he didn't really do anything. And I feel bad torturing Lilius because she didn't really do anything. Maybe we start with the priest and then we go on from there. Maybe we just torture everybody. We're equal opportunity torturers. If one person gets tortured, everybody does. This game is really visually cool, though. And I like all the dialogue. The dialogue's been pretty fantastic. Really authentic and, like, good vibes. Yeah, I wanna torture the priest. Alright, Mr. Priest. I'm afraid that nobody is accepted from the hunt for a witch. Duke and the witch. A witch is a filthy, unclean creature. Let the waters wash away their sins and slacken their jaw. Left click and hold to submerge the witch in the river. This is real. This is taken directly from King James. King James the Sixth in his Daemonologie philosophical dissertation. He actually said left click and hold. It's actually written in there if you go and read it, guys. You can read it yourself. Yeah, he really did say left click and hold. He was ahead of his time. He was very ahead of his time. Left click and hold to submerge the witch in the river and watch as the water fills their lungs. Release the click to bring them back up. Time it so they surface during the highlighted area. Perform this action 3 times to break them. This one doesn't seem too bad. Ripping out the tongue was pretty harsh. This one doesn't seem as bad. I mean, it's awful, but it doesn't seem as permanent. You are right. Woo. Got him. No. Oh, we didn't do it right. Sorry. I'll do it better next time. Hang on. It's fine. He's fine. Oh, sorry. Hang on. We'll do one more time. All right, back in. Then I probably sound like a psychopath for laughing right now, but just the blue noise that it makes is funny, and just the idea of like the Witchfinder not caring about like getting the right answer and purging the heretic from with the light of God or something like that. He's just like really obsessed with like the technique. And he's just like, hold on, I did that one wrong. Let me do it again. No, I gotta release it during the perfect WarioWare timing. I wait. We gotta go one more round. You can handle one more round, right? New high score. Have mercy, or may Azrael strike ye down. Why do ye molest me so while that whore still walks free? You're not giving me a single reason to suspect her still, sir. Just tell me. If you want it to be her, just tell me what was actually happening. All you keep saying is that she sucks. I seen her taking newborn babes out to that pagan spiral. I pray she takes the short drop. Your mind seems fixed upon this maiden. What is she to you? Yeah, tell me. Not maiden, naught but a blaspheming pagan harlot. What do you mean, Father Usby? What do you mean? Alright, I guess we gotta go talk to her. Let's go. Did we torture her? We did, right? Oh yeah, we ripped out our tongue. Let's go talk like let's go up like this. We'll go 1, 2, 3. Sir? How are you still on that witch business? Okay. I don't think we have any reason to torture him yet. He doesn't seem like he's hiding anything from us, so we'll leave him alone. Let's just. I want to quickly talk to him again because I don't quite remember what he said last. He's still just okay. We still don't have anything. So is it possible? I'm trying to work through potential scenarios in my head, like a detective. Is it possible that the old lady was drawing the symbols? But completely unrelated. Maybe she just found the dead sheep and cut one of the heads off because she's crazy and painted symbols on the door. Is that possible? Like she's just mad. So maybe she just saw a dead sheep and cut its head off. And that's why he thinks there's a witch. And it just happened to be at really bad timing and that he suspected Violet. But Violet also bad timing and suspected him. And this guy just has some sort of other affliction that's causing him pain. So like maybe it's all just one big misunderstanding from a crazy lady. I do think the priest is sus about that lady though. Because he keeps insisting everything, but she didn't even bring anything up. Like it's a little suspect. I feel like the priest did something bad and he's trying to cover it up by having me hang somebody. But maybe that's just me drawing on other sources because the priest is always the bad guy. If they put a priest in a show, it's always the bad guy. That's just the way it is because it's like a subversion of like the priest is supposed to be moral and good, so we subvert your expectations and surprise you by having the priest be the bad guy. So like anytime you see a priest now, you're just like he's probably the bad guy. And you're usually right. If you see a CEO as well, there's like a rich CEO man, all right, he's the bad guy. Same thing. That's how you can learn to divine things like Charlemagne does. See a priest, point at him, go, that's probably the bad guy, and be right. Unless it is a show specifically about a priest. Then that doesn't really apply. But if it's like some other thing, if it's some like horror movie where there's no priest, and then a priest suddenly shows up, there's two options. He's either dead within minutes, or he's the bad guy. I guess we gotta talk to Lilius. Listen, you don't really have this coming, man. I apologize. But I need more information from you. Actually, maybe we should just torture the old lady first. She at least has it coming to her. Oh, we already did. Just torture her. just bully the old lady just because he was mean to us. Yeah, just be like really awful to the old lady purely because she wasn't polite, and then leave town. I guess we'll just torture everybody. Oh, we got a poker. All right, ma'am. Time to get poked. Sorry. We'll do it in the areas that wouldn't hurt as much. Please, sire, there is no witchcraft in these healing herbs. Inform me then, what is of them? No done to words, just a wee bit of lavender, some rosemary, and lady's bed straw. Yep, seems pretty innocent. That priest sent you here, did he not? Yeah. I would rather speak ill of another from this village. But I feel he is a shadow looming over us all, his slimy tendrils to grasp us tight. A real beast in sheep's skin. Oh, okay, now finally we get to talk to her about this. Why couldn't we have just asked her that without stabbing her in the in the butt and the back of the head and the shoulder blades? Surely we could have just asked her this question first, right? Sir, Mr. Witchfinder, you might be jumping to some conclusions here. I think that's the point of the game, but still. Useby claims you have taken newborn babes out to this spiral. Yeah, be for real with me. Would that it were true. Tears now streaming down her face. Gavin and I almost had a wee one of our own. Father Useby said it was an abomination on account of us nigh being hand fasting. You'll not tell Gavin if you see him, will ye? Okay, that's what I assumed that meant. Hand fasting. That's an interesting terminology. What's the implication there? Is she saying that they almost had a baby, but the father said it was an abomination? Or Father Useby said it was an abomination? And was there a baby that they killed? Is that what you're trying to say? Was a baby killed? Be for real. Tell me in plain English. Was a baby killed? Or is she implying like an early term thing? Just the stones and stones thing, stands, is funny to me. So, I'm still not really seeing any reason to think she's evil. I am buying that the priest seems a little sketchy. Oh, so maybe she just miscarried, and he said that was the reason why she miscarried. It's because they weren't. And maybe Gavin didn't know about the baby because she miscarried fairly early before she was showing too much. Or something like that. I don't know. It's intentionally opaque. We're trying to read more into it than she's giving us. All right, Father. Let's talk. I think. What if we just torture him again? I don't like this guy. He's sketchy to me. Let's just mess him up again. All right, time for the tongue. All right, Father. Be for real with me. Are you harming anybody in this town? You abusing your flock, father? He controls my fate as he sees fit. This must be a test. Oh, why must he try me so with cruel tortures? But it's not mine to question. I can only pray this suffering will cease and I may join him at his side. I have lived piously and just. He will see that surely, not like the rest of the filth in this village. Take Shepherd Violet, for example. Yeah? You were really on Lilius for a bit there. Now you're just pivoting? That husband of hers was a dunce. But there must be something far corrupt with her to drive him away. Well, I don't know about that, sir. I think he was just running away from some debts. I don't think that there has to be anything wrong with her to drive him away. Lots of people drive away their spouses for a lot of reasons. I don't think it means the devil. I bet she's in coven with that maiden. Alright, so you're not fond of women. I get it. I get it. Ooh. Alright, we're hanging the priest. That's really cool looking. Upside down cross. He formed an upside down cross. I like that it lets me repeat it so that I can try to interpret it. So I guess there's kind of two ways to interpret this, because the slugs, the demonic looking slugs, fall into his pews. So you could say that like the slugs, the demons, are either doing that to him or he's doing that to them, you know? You can kind of interpret it a couple ways. This is our last day before we have to hang somebody, I think. It said on the dawn of the 5th day, so I presume this is our last full day. So right now I kind of feel like the priest is messed up. Everybody hates the priest. So far, these three seem like it's a bit of a misunderstanding between the three of them. And he's really done nothing wrong. And I can't see too much wrong with what she's done other than the fact that she could just be entirely fabricating everything. But why did he say 3 children? He said 3 babies taken out there. But she seems to only imply 1. And that she's probably just having difficulty having a baby. And... oh. Okay. Just purely speculation. We're just operating on like headcanon or trying to draw up scenarios in our head. He's not fond of her. He doesn't like their relationship that they're having outside of marriage, right? So he probably thinks she's a harlot for that reason, but potentially some other stuff too in her past, which isn't necessarily an indictment on her, obviously. And so he's kind of already got it out for her. She is having difficulty carrying a child. He blames that on the fact that they're unmarried and having a child out of like wedlock like that. But what if he told Gavin is what my brain is thinking. What if he told Gavin about the fact that she's having a difficulty having a baby and he dipped because of that? Right? Or gave Gavin some other thing to try to drive him away in hopes that would ruin whatever was going on with her. Either that or he's like abused her in the past or something. The way he talks about her is a little strange. But to be fair, she could just be manipulating us. So I don't want to like completely take her side necessarily, because obviously people lie. But But I'm just speculating on like scenarios if we were to say that the priest is a messed up person, even completely absent of all witch and demon stuff. If we were just trying to operate this like we're a detective solving a police crime. I'm trying to draw up scenarios in which, because the way he talks about her is like overly harsh, and I don't think that there's like it's not concern for the way she might impact the others, you know? He hates everybody. And I don't think that there's any reason that he should. Even so much as how he like pivoted and started to throw Violet under the bus too. It just seems like he might be kind of messed up and is trying desperately to throw her under the bus for some reason. Welcome, Balcony. Welcome, Balcony. We're torturing people in here. This is a torture stream. So no different than my usual streams. So for those who are just joining us right now, aka Balcony in the chat, this is Daemonologie, and it's a game in which we're a witch finder in 1600s Scotland, and we are in a little village trying to interrogate people to figure out who the witch is of the 6 people. And we're getting down there because we're on day 4, and on the 5th dawn we have to hang somebody. Of the 6 of them, we got to hang someone, and so we need to decide. Right now we have this right here. At the edge of the woods is the old crone, Griselda, and she just seems like she's insane. But she has insisted to us that she is a witch, and also that everybody else is also a witch. So we're taking what she says with a grain of salt. This is the shepherd, Violet, and she says that the blacksmith is a witch. This is actually good because we can review what we know, because this is our last day, so we got to be serious about this. So she says that the blacksmith is a witch, and that he has wolf familiars, and that he traded his jaw with Lucifer so that he could kill her sheep with his wolf familiars. But he, the blacksmith himself, says that the shepherd Violet is a witch, and that she cursed his jaw to fall off, but he welded it back on with his metal. And so, because he is wearing a metal mask, and so he says that he built her a fence, and that she insists that the fence didn't work and that wolves killed her sheep, but he thinks that she just messed up closing the fence, and that she's just a witch that's put a curse on him for that reason, and that she's evil. So they both accuse each other, and I don't think either of them are correct. If we go and take a look. So he said, I think she probably just forgot to close the fence. But look at the fence. It's destroyed. So that could still be just normal wolves, though. Like, normal wolves could have just messed up the fence. So it doesn't mean that she's lying, and it doesn't mean that he's lying. So, like, I kind of think, okay, the other thing that we have with the two of these is that he said that there was a lamb's head left on his doorstep, like a severed lamb head left on his doorstep, and that symbols were drawn in blood on his door. And we said, we ourselves confirmed that there was blood on the ground out front of his house, but we didn't find any head. So we don't really know what to do with that. But then he also said that he saw those symbols out in the woods, right? Which is where the grandma is. So could be someone framing her, but also could have just been Granny walks by the farm, right? And grandma's crazy. She's accusing everybody of being a witch. She talks in circles. She doesn't make any sense. So she could just be a witch, or she could just be an old woman who's losing her mind, right? Because when we asked her, when have you seen the priest do this weird stuff that she's claiming he does? She said, tomorrow he does it. And so maybe she's just losing track of like where she is. She's crazy. So that could be an option, right? So what if she just walked by and just did some weird stuff with the sheep because she's crazy. And then if she's the one drawing the symbols, maybe she just put it here and drew them on his door. Like maybe she is just crazy. And then they both misinterpreted that to think each other were witches. That's just one scenario. That's a possibility, right? Now, any of the three of them could be witches. But I think the point is that it's very ambiguous. So we're trying to draw up potential scenarios. Now, that brings us to the other three people in town. So this guy right here is the fisherman, and he looks monstrous. Take a look at him. So he's covered in hair, he's deformed, and he looks monstrous. But nobody has accused him of anything. And he himself is just minding his own business fishing. The worst thing that anybody's ever said about him is that he eats decaying flesh, but he's literally just eating fish. He's fishing. Of course they're dead. And that was the crazy lady who accused him of that. And she also said that Violet the shepherd also eats decaying flesh, but she's the shepherd. She eats lamb. Of course she does. So I don't know if we buy what Grandma's saying about that. This guy's been chill the entire time to the point where we haven't even tortured him because we haven't needed to. There's been no accusation against him. Which leaves the last two people in town. So this is Lilius at the Ring of Stones. This is a fairy circle that she's sitting at. Her music is very innocent and pretty. This is Maiden Lilius, and she's like the herbalist in town. And we've asked her about her herbs, and they're pretty standard stuff, lavender and lady's bed straw and stuff like that. Pretty standard fare for this era. Nothing out of the ordinary there. But she says that she had a gentleman caller, like a person that she was courting, or that was courting her, named Gavin, who has not appeared recently. He's kind of gone. And then she also says that the priest in the old church, the old kirk, as it's called, is practicing zealotry, which the granny also said was true. But again, we kind of are putting a little asterisk next to everything Granny says. She says that the priest is a little weird, and that he looks at her weird, and that he doesn't like her. So then we go and talk to the priest. This is actually helping me piece it all together. So this is good. This is a good recap because I feel like I need the recap. So we go and talk to the priest, and the priest is like, yeah, that maiden, she's a harlot. We hate her. She sucks. She's not a maiden at all. She's just a harlot. And then he said that she was murdering babies at the fairy circle, that she'd murdered 3 babies, which we then talked to her about, and she said that she hadn't done that. And she said, like, I wish I had a baby, because she seems to not be able to carry a baby to term. She's being very vague about it, and everybody's being vague about everything. But it seems like she had some sort of miscarriage that her gentleman caller, Gavin, didn't know about. She was with child, but didn't carry it to term. We don't know if that was intentional or by accident, or like just a miscarriage, I mean. And the priest has said that the baby was an abomination, and that it was because they were not married was why. And we don't really know the entire context of that because we weren't there, and it's just them saying their own vagueness. But there's an implication. I guess we could assume that he meant that the baby died because it was born out of wedlock. So nothing about that, if we treat that very mundanely, nothing about that implies witchcraft, right? So we don't like the priest mainly because he's just kind of a dick, but we don't really have anything tangible to accuse anybody of anything, is what I'm trying to say. We don't have any tangible evidence in any direction, so I think we might just pick the person we dislike most. And I do think that might be the point of the game. I said at the beginning of the stream that I kind of feel like the game is going to not tell us if we're right or wrong. That was my prediction. And the more we play the game, the more I feel like I'm going to be right. I did a Charlemagne divination at the beginning. And so right now, if we had to pick, I'm leaning towards Granny or priest, just because Granny's really mean. And it might be her fault that I'm here in the first place because she's kind of insane and doing insane things. And the priest might just be kind of a scummy guy. But we can't quite tell. Because when we tried to talk to the priest about Lilius, he immediately switched and started talking about Violet and how Violet's probably in a coven with Lilius. And he hadn't talked about Violet at all previously. And you think that if he was trying to help us suss out a witch, he would have led with, hey, Violet and Lilius are probably witches, you know? But he brought it up only after we tortured him and after we talked about Lilius more and started accusing him of stuff, right? He only brought up Violet after, which makes me think that he didn't care that much about Violet. He just has it out for Lilius for some reason, either based on the religious aspect of her being in a relationship in which they're not married, or maybe it's something worse in the past that he's done, or something, right? We're getting bad vibes from the priest. Now, the last factor that we need to consider on this last day is that we've had 3 prophetic dreams. The first one was of a bunch of sheep. One of the sheep was standing over the flock. Not really, it was standing separated from the flock. And it began to like speak in tongues, and then one of the sheep had like tentacles erupt from its mouth. And obviously that was not a pleasant experience for the sheep. And so there's a lot of ways to interpret that. You could do like a flock of a priest, like a priest's flock, and how they're kind of shepherd to their flock. And so you can interpret that as him being messed up and not treating his flock properly, right? But you could also just literally refer to the shepherd, right? So kind of complicated there. And then the next prophetic dream we had was there's a man walking through the woods, and who doesn't resemble any of the people in town. And then a weird, creepy witch, like a giant witch that doesn't look like any of the people in town, does some sort of like weird finger magic towards him, and then a tree erupts from his chest and grows. That was the second prophetic dream. And then the third prophetic dream we had was the priest, almost certainly the priest, kneeling in the church, and a bunch of slugs appeared and landed sitting in his pews, and then there was demons behind the slugs too, and he started speaking in tongues again, and then he flipped upside down and he was like T-posing in midair like an upside down cross. Those are the 3 prophetic dreams we've had. So, you know, bad vibes for the priest all around is what I'm trying to say. So we need to now decide who we want to talk to, because we're probably not going to get any information out of anybody today unless we torture them. And so every time we torture somebody, it will take a slot, which means we got 6 people in town and basically 4 new pieces of information. So we can torture 4 people for more information. So who should we torture? I kind of feel like we should just leave this Furian guy alone, because he's literally done nothing wrong and nobody's accused him. So unless somebody accuses him of something, I think we should just leave him alone, to be honest. We could just torture him just to see what he says, but that kind of feels like not a very good justification. It's just a video game, so we could just do it, but we should maybe like keep our detective RP that we're doing here, where we treat it like we're actually in the scenario. So if we want more information, definitely the priest. I think the priest is definitely getting one of our torture slots today. we got a busy schedule, but we'll fit him in. I think priest is definitely getting it. Maybe Lilius, just to see what she says, just because she's kind of involved. I feel bad because she really hasn't done anything wrong, but she survived one torture. Maybe we just give her another one. I don't think we'll hang her. I'm leaning away from hanging her, even though she seems like the obvious witch, but I feel like that's like almost a red herring-y. She's sitting in a fairy circle. They say that she dances with shadows at night, but that could have just been her with her gentleman collar, right? and she brings babies to the thing to kill them. I don't know. She's the herbalist. It feels too cliche. But I still feel like we're never gonna actually know. So we'll just use our best. We'll tell our own little story here, and then we'll hang somebody. So maybe we should just start with the priest since we know we're doing him, and then see what he says and see if that changes our mind about the other people. Let's all right, Father Usby. You got one chance to say something new, sir. No, this is what he said before. He says he with a capital H, which is how you would talk about God. But, I mean, see how he just immediately shifts to Shepherd Violet for no reason? That husband of hers was a dunce. But there must be something far corrupt with her to drive him away. I bet she's in coven with that maiden. Yeah, sure, dude. That was a bit of a random, like, Hail Mary accusation. I don't buy it. Torture. Oh, we're hitting him with the pillywinkles. He's gonna get pillywinkled. All right, brother. We missed. The old thumb screws. Alright, we got him. Bone cracked. I admit. I was tempted and did covet the relations with that whore temptress. See? That I literally sussed that out. I could sniff that. I could tell. He was just jealous of Gavin. He was jealous. Ah, see? I could sense that in the back of my head. Nobody said anything to that, but I could sense it. I could sense that he was calling her a whore because he was just mad that she wasn't sleeping with him. I could feel it in my gut. A black goat did appear to me, and I begged it to let me bed that supple maiden. She should be mine, see? Alright, we're hanging this guy no matter what, right? At least her lover will know return. I've seen that. Okay, so you killed the Gavin guy too, or did you just send him away? I have planted his skull at the roots of an old ash tree. Okay, so we're killing this guy. I think no questions asked. We're killing Father Usby. Even if you're not a witch, I think we should just kill him because he murdered somebody. Let me enjoy this last tipple of wine before my end. Yeah, you got it, buddy. We're hanging you tomorrow, buddy. Well, I don't think there's any reason to torture her anymore. Hey, ma'am. That priest is pretty fucked up. Please, sire, there is nigh witchcraft in these healing arms. We've heard her talk about this before. I'd rare speak ill of another from this village. But I feel he is a shadow looming over us all. Slimy tendrils to grasp us tight. So this actually fits entirely, though, with what we saw in our thing. I think she's innocent, completely. I think she didn't do anything wrong now. Okay, so this actually fits with our prophetic dreams as well, because we got the sheep in charge of the flock and the tendrils that she mentioned, right? She mentions the slimy tendrils. We saw tendrils emerging out of the sheep. Then we saw a man in the woods who turned into a tree, right? And some sort of creature that turned him into a tree. And so he killed a man and buried him under a tree. He turned him into a tree, right? And then we see the shepherd with the slugs in his congregation, and then he turns upside down to form an upside down cross. So he's turned from the faith, right? And he's made a deal with a black goat. So whether or not he literally made a deal with a witch or if he just talked to a black goat, that doesn't really matter, but this guy needs to hang regardless, right? I think we might have been dead on the entire time. Damn, I'm a good detective. Detective Charlemagne does it again. Where are my sunglasses? Should we just... to torture Granny for old time's sake. Listen, she was really mean when we first showed up. So we just bully Grandma one more time? Because I feel like we shouldn't... we could maybe torture Lilius one more time just to see what she says. Because what if she's like... Actually, like, what if everybody has some sort of messed up accusation by the end? Like, what if she's like, actually, I was worried about having a baby, so I murdered my child or something like that. You know? I still think maybe the priest is a little worse, but that would be pretty bad. See, she just accuses everybody. Feast upon festering carcasses like buzzards of hell. Ma'am, that's just called eating meat. Everybody does that. There's part of me that just wants to know more about Lilius, and the only way we're going to get her to talk about herself is by torturing her. But I feel really bad. Maybe we should just exercise restraint. We don't need to know the details. He admitted to murder. Maybe that's good enough. Maybe we don't need to know the details, since she seems to just be living peacefully, and she's just helping people with her herbs. Maybe we don't need to know more. Maybe our desire for knowledge is Satan tempting us down a bad path. And I still think these people are just completely misunderstanding their individual situations. But, you know, we got 3 more torture slots. I mean, we might as well use them, right? We're not just gonna leave without, you know, getting our use out of all of our instruments, right? But let it be known that Charlemagne solved it by the dawn of the 4th day. I mean, truthfully, we had it solved a couple days ago because I was onto that track a while back. Let's go. Yeah. What if we just give old Violet another quick thumb screw? Let's dunk her in the tank. Oh yeah, it is the dunk one. It is the dunk one. All right, time to go into the water. Listen, Violet, this one's not that bad. I promise. Bloop, 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 bloop. Bloop, 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 bloop. And bloop, 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 bloop. I do like that it goes slower on the last one. You have to leave them under longer. I can take a little more of this torture. I admit I made lies about the blacksmith. I have seen him talking to neither raven nor wolf. Ah, so she didn't mean 2 wolves. I thought she meant like a raven wolf as in like a black wolf. Because then she talked about a black wolf. But she meant a raven and a wolf. I forgot to close the gate, and the death of the sheep are not but my own stupidity and carelessness. Perhaps that old fisherman is the witch you seek. Appears as more beast than man. Alright, so she's fully innocent then. She's just an idiot. And her husband did leave because of the unpaid debts. That was right. I would not be surprised if he was the one who ate my sheep. I mean, that's possible, but... Noted. Innocent. So, but that being innocent also implies that he's innocent. And I kind of feel like they're both just... Now, okay. If we wanted to be diligent, she could just be lying about lying in order to paint herself more innocent and as just kind of a dunce who isn't a witch and thus wouldn't get hanged. So obviously it could still be her, but we have to kind of like operate on what we're given because we can't just sit here and torture her the entire day. Now we could give him an old thumb screw, hit him with the pillywinkles just to see what he says. We got 2 more. We could try to talk to him, but like I kind of feel like maybe he just didn't build a very good fence too. Like maybe his fence just wasn't very good and she forgot to close it, and so it was just like they both are idiots. And the grandma is just crazy. We could torture her. Part of me wants to do it, but I think maybe we'll just hold off. We'll just assume Lilius is innocent. Because I kind of feel like she might just be the victim here. We could torture him. just to see if he did actually eat the sheep, but he might have just eaten the sheep like carcasses after they were dead, because there are carcasses lying there. But he could have eaten them. I don't know. We have no evidence for that. He's literally just vibing. He's got fish. Why would he need sheep? You know what? Never mind. Let's torture Granny. Let's fuck up Grandma. Let's get Grandma. Granny. Oh, Granny's getting dunked. Time for the dunk tank, Granny. Step right up. Step right up. Time to dunk Grandma in the dunk tank. All proceeds go to charity. Come on, Grandma, talk. Talk, Granny. She's just gonna say more insane things. This is completely pointless. But bleed o' every orifice, you cursed wretch. That blacksmith is a filthy witch, and he's gonna smelt your ankles and hammer them into your ears. For he dances with the devil's flame. What do you mean by devil's flame? I mean flames o' hell, of course. A bright flash o' the purest white. Too bright for flames o' this earth. Okay, so she's just crazy. We got one more torture, gang. Too bright. All right, should we just hit the blacksmith with a quick torture, and then hang the priest? All right, we'll leave her alone. She doesn't deserve it. Even if she's a witch, he's still a dickhead. So even if she is a witch, she's not a very evil one. If she's being taken advantage of and like if he's fucking up her life by murdering the person that she wanted alive, even if let's say hypothetically she was just using Gavin in order to like give her children to sacrifice, she would still want Gavin alive. And if she just like didn't know that he murdered Gavin and just sort of let that happen, then she's not a very good witch, so she's still kind of a victim. So like no matter what, this guy's kind of the most evil person in town. Even if she is a witch, he's still more evil than her. Alright. Let's torture him. Tongue prong. But this guy's jaw is gone. Can we still tongue prong him if his jaw is gone? Here we go. Let's go. We got his tongue. Got your tongue. Got your tongue. Yeah. Let's go. Okay. I was dead on about this too. All right. I admit the fence I sold her was nigh my best work, but that doesn't change her being a witch. Nor does it prove it. Hang the damn shepherd lest ye doom us all. Griselda claims ye have been stoking devil's flames. What on earth does she mean by that? Bright white flashes from hell, brighter than any flame. Away with such tripe. You deny your claims? Aye, that's nigh witchcraft. That's just a wee project of mine, a scientific study of sorts. To be fair, Violet also said he was doing experiments. Heretical alchemy. No, nothing like that. I've this German fella sold me this gay powerful lead powder. He's got redstone. he's got redstone powder. He's just building stuff for his Minecraft world, guys. Burns bright like you wouldn't I believe. All right, I think he's chill too. Let's see our last prophetic dream. I think our last prophetic dream is going to be like, you were right, Charlemagne, you're a genius. Oh, this is now trying to make us think about the blacksmith. That is the powder that he said. It's weird though, that doesn't look like the blacksmith. He's forging a cross, that seems fine. And there's a sheep in here. Seems fine. Oh. I don't think this one helps us at all. I think this one might just be a ignore it type dream. We just wake up, have our coffee. That was probably nothing. So powder, he's been sold from the German fella. That's not necessarily evil, even if it is some demonic powder. He's not doing anything bad with it. He kind of sucks at his job because he can't build fences, which you think he'd be able to. But I still kind of feel like they both are just misunderstanding. I'm a little confused at him building a cross, though. And why does he have a raven head? And then the sheep gets his head cut off. He makes raven noises. So, in theory, he could be lying to us, right? And he is doing something, but I kind of just feel like we hang the priest because he's confessed to a crime, right? Regardless of any of these people being a witch, this guy's a murderer. So I kind of just feel like we should hang him anyway, right? And so not only did he confess to murdering somebody, but he also confessed to consorting with a black goat, which is a satanic iconography, right? The whole Black Phillip thing. And so, like, he is consorting with what he at least thought was the devil. So whether or not anybody else is a witch, he tried to commit an act of like witchcraft. Like he tried to get Satan to convince this woman to sleep with him, which he didn't do. So whether or not he is literally a witch and there's magic going on, he's still a murderer either way. And he still tried to commit witchcraft either way. Even if it didn't work, he still tried. So I kind of feel like he's just our witch, right? He's just a witch, regardless of any supernatural thing. It could just be somebody who harms other people and intends to do it. Whether or not Satan helped him doesn't really matter, does it? Like, we don't really care. I'm sure Mr. Witchfinder Grumpy Gus in the corner would care, but it doesn't really matter whether or not Satan helped him do fucked up stuff. He still did fucked up stuff and he confessed to doing it. So I kind of feel like we're just hanging buddy boy here. Father Usby, I sentence you to death and accuse you of heresy. You agree, chat? We all in agreement here? We all agree? We're hanging the priest. We were ready to hang the priest on day one. Truly, we are a very biased lot, aren't we? Because we were ready to go. Day one, we were like, hang the priest. Just purely on the bad vibes we got from him. But then we got our vibes confirmed, and then he confessed. He said, Your Honor, I confess I do have bad vibes. So I think we're hanging this boy. Father Usby, goodbye. Let's go. We got paid, gang. We got paid. He doesn't even look. Just leaves. And off we go to the next town. Was I right? Was I right? Yeah, I was right. So the game does not tell you. Which is what I predicted at the beginning of the game. And so I was right. I understand that that's the point. It might have been... There's another version of this game that would have been cool where you could be right or wrong, but the game was very clearly trying to say that your choice is ambiguous and ultimately doesn't matter because it's just based on your own biases and what you thought, which is how we operated. We just operated based on our own vibes and what we were imagining the situation to be. We hung the guy and then we left. And so that's the intent of the game, and I think it was effective at that. because the fact that we couldn't just keep asking more questions and had to eventually turn to torture more implies about our character, right? Because we weren't playing ourselves, we were playing the Witchfinder. And so he would just, as soon as he stops getting any sort of purchase from people, he just turns to torture. And so that's what was going on there. The fact that we had to turn to torture to get answers was more an indictment on his eagerness to turn to torture than anything else. But I actually really liked it. Visually, it was gorgeous. I really like the aesthetics of this game. Like the simpleness here, it works for the game's purposes, and all the like claymation, like cutscene stuff was genuinely like gorgeous. So I think this is a game just made by one guy, in which case, good job. It's short, it's sweet, it does what it's trying to do, and it doesn't overstay its welcome. I liked it a lot. I'm kind of curious, should we just go torture everybody to get their stories now? And just see what everybody would say? Just do everybody until they stop repeating? Because I think we got most of his, right? I can't see him saying much more than what he told us. And we kind of got a lot of theirs, but what if we just keep going on everybody else? Just to kind of learn, because I'm curious. Should we just torture this guy for several days until we get the end of his story? Because I'm just curious what was going on with him. Were we right? In that he seemed pretty innocent? I could leave it here. We could just end the stream here, but I'm a little curious. So if you guys are curious too, we can take a peek. Just immediately torture him. Got it. Are you still at that witch business? Haha. Can hardly confess to something I ain't. Come now, I'll fix us some nice trout or tuna flesh for supper. And then we got this. So he told us this on the second day without us torturing him. So even torturing didn't really change anything for him. Pillywinkles. Let's just torture him until something interesting happens. That's the most like messed up way to play this game. All these animations were pretty good too. Maybe, I don't, it's not like a criticism because I know that one guy made this and it was for like a game jam, so it's probably made in a short amount of time too. But if we were trying to expand upon this game, maybe more torture methods would have been interesting, because I think we saw them all and then we repeated some. So maybe if there was just like way more, obviously that's a lot of work. So I'm just mostly saying, like, if you were given unlimited budget and unlimited time to work on this, something cool would be seeing like more torture methods would have like had more impact than seeing repeated torture methods, because they're gross and they're very well done. But if there were more of them rather than repeated ones, because they lose their bite on the second time you see them. Can you see this pursuit is in folly? Find ye nae witches here, or anywhere for that matter. So he's saying there are no witches. He kind of told us that on the first day. He said no witches here, which could just straight up be true, because like if there were no witches, all we did was just hang a murderer, which is fine by me. And so he might be right, there were no witches. So maybe if we torture everybody enough, we get the confession that maybe they did something a little weird, but it's nothing that would be literally supernatural. Beg ye, sir, trouble us no more. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do it again though, because I need to know. I wonder if everybody has like an end point. Getting really good at this one. I say, immediately messing it up. Blub, 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 blub. Oh, that was a fast one. It's a fine art, this torture. You really need to practice it. You have broken and beaten me, can I not convince you? Do you take some wretched pleasure for our suffering? I am no witch. God grant it, I will have your confession. You would have, oh, you know what would be interesting? If you torture them enough, they all just eventually say, yeah, I'm a witch. That would be interesting. If you torture them enough, they will just try to confirm something just to have the torture stop. That would be an interesting way. I don't know if that's the way the game is going to do it, but that would be an interesting way to treat it. Like if you are too merciless with your torturing, then everybody is a witch. But if you don't torture anybody, nobody is a witch. So if you torture the right people enough, you get the answer that the priest was a murderer. You'll have truths you wish to hear, but not from me. We go again. I just want to know if they like have an end state, you know? Surely they can't program in a million things for everybody to say, right? May Neptune strike ye dead. Find ye nae witches here, only your own wretched soul that is made pact with devils and demons. A blackened beggar, as leech upon the land, trading torment for gold. And then, is this dream the same? Oh, so they can be in any order. That's interesting. So this would lead you to go talk to the blacksmith, but we got the shepherd one first. Interesting. So there's like 4 of them and they can be in any order. That's cool. So it is really interpretive because... Interesting. I like that. I actually like that. I wonder if there's more than just the ones we got. Like, are there ones that can come up? I kind of want to move to the blacksmith and torture him a bunch next just to see what he says. Because I think we're kind of done with this guy. I'm now just curious to see what everybody says in terms of their confessions. Stab, 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 stab. Shepherd cursed me, for she says the fence I built her was nigh good. We got that one. Yep, yep, yep. We do again. We do it again. And I think we got this one too. But I'm thinking that that Buren guy is just purely a red herring. And he is innocent and doesn't believe in witches at all. So he thinks that we're just here to torment people, which, true. But technically, I kind of like that it's ambiguous. It would have been really easy for this game to lean into you are the bad guy, you are the evil one, everybody was innocent, and you just came and harmed people. It's interesting. I appreciate and think it's more nuanced and more interesting that there was actually somebody who was fucked up in the village, whether or not they were a witch. It's interesting that there is still something to solve there, because they could have just made it an exercise in futility. You go here, you torture a bunch of people, none of them did anything wrong, you leave. I think it's more interesting that there is something to actually solve. It means that there's a real point to actually paying attention, which I appreciate. We go again. That being said, let's torture this guy for no reason. It's a very interesting little game. These really are just WarioWare minigames. Alright, I admit the fence I sold her was nigh my best work. This is the one we got last. Hang the damn shepherd, lest you doom us all. So now we go one more. And see if he says something new. I confess, please, nae more torture. What do you confess? When the shepherd would nigh pay for my work, I stoked up Lucifer himself from my fires and set the wolves of hell upon her sheep. Ah, so he did try to do witchcraft as well. But, I mean, all he did was try to summon wolves. And I don't know if that's necessarily real, you know? If you sit there in your house and you go, I really hope that my co-worker drops dead tomorrow. I really hope that my co-worker drops dead tomorrow. Please, Satan, make my co-worker drop dead tomorrow. And then your co-worker gets hit by a bus the next day. Doesn't necessarily mean that Satan really did it. Your co-worker might just be clumsy. And she did say that she left the fence open. So she might have just screwed up and he thought he did it. You know? Which, to be fair, in this era, probably would still hang this guy for just admitting to doing witchcraft. But And potentially justifiably, because he's trying to fuck somebody over just for being mad at them. And he even confessed that it wasn't his best work. So, like, he himself thinks he didn't do good work, but he still wants her to pay for it. So he's still a dickhead. Um, you freely admit who else was in your coven. You freely admit to witchcraft. Damn you! Just hang me now and end my suffering. So I still think he doesn't deserve to get hanged, but hang that shepherd and all, for she is the most cursed witch I've ever. See, he's still kind of like, whether he's like a little delirious from the torture, you know. So we could have just forced a confession there potentially, but ooh, we've not gotten this one before. This is supposed to then indict, or supposed to cast suspicion on the woman in the clearing. There's the babies. And the baby being an abomination. That lines up with what the priest was trying to say. Still has the umbilical attached, which could imply, like, miscarriage, right? But we've not... The witch in that thing, this creepy lady, didn't harm the baby. Right? The baby was an abomination because maybe she believed the priest a little bit for a while. But if we interpret this in a metaphorical sense, she's not harming the baby. There's multiple babies here, so maybe she's tried to have a baby before, but, like, nothing about this necessarily implies anything evil on her end. It's ominous, and it's meant to be ominous, but all it does is line up with what we thought about her before. So that would make you want to go talk to her about stuff and try to learn stuff about that, but I still don't think it paints her in a bad light necessarily. As much as the ones that we got paint him in a bad light. His confirm what he said. Hers confirm what she said, but don't paint her in a bad light. His confirm what he said and do paint her in a bad light. His confirm what he said and make him look like a bit of a moron and a guy who probably should not have done what he did, but not necessarily as evil as him. Let's torture the grandma. Let's torture grandma. It is interesting though, because had we just hard focused on somebody, like we went around to one person each day and tortured them just to get a bit more information each day. Had we focused on one person, we would actually almost know less. Because if we look at what information we have right now, it doesn't help us. The order that we did everything in actually kind of fed us a lot of logical answers. Whether or not that's a good thing, I don't know. But the way that we did it kind of ended up working out for our conclusion we came to. Whereas had we just focused on one person like we're doing right now, we would just know like one side of the story and we wouldn't really know what to do with that information. And so it's almost better the way we did it, because we learned about each person and was able to like confront them with what they said about each other. Whereas just talking to one person and torturing them endlessly gets you like worse options. It doesn't tell you enough. Which, I mean, fair enough. It just torturing someone until they tell you something that you want to hear, it doesn't help you. Which, yeah, and then we got this. She accuses the shepherd and the fisherman, but doesn't really do much with that. And I mean, I don't think we ever tortured her past this, did we? We gotta duke the witch. Ah, we got this one. Then she accuses the blacksmith. She saw the light. She didn't really necessarily have too much of a reason to accuse him just because of seeing a bright light. So she's still a little crazy, but she technically was right. He was trying to do something messed up there. We go one more. And we get Granny's full confession. Had your cursed pus-filled tongue. I've seen that filthy whore by the ring of stones birthing babes and dashing their wee brains out upon the rocks. Ha ha! She will dash your filthy fucking brains and all, since her filthy lover is never coming back. So I think, yeah, I think maybe there is something like the priest saw to that. So he did kill the guy. Who else is in your coven? We are the witches, and I dare you to put the noose around us all. We can all hang together. We are the witches, and I got it. All right, Granny. So there's a prophetic dream about everybody, basically. We saw this one. This is good though, because we got the blacksmith dream on the last day, and I was like, did we miss something? But they're random, so this one's really creepy. I wonder if she would confess to trying to do something to the shepherd lady if we tortured her enough. Because it seems like if you torture everybody enough, they confess to something. So I bet maybe she did birth a baby that was malformed, and she killed the baby because she didn't want it to grow up suffering. Or just because she was grossed out by it, potentially. I shouldn't say that she's completely innocent just for doing that, but, like, regardless, she killed a baby. But maybe she didn't miscarry. Maybe she birthed a baby that wasn't surviving very well. Alright, who should we pick for day 4? Maybe let's get the full context of Lilius, and then we'll hang this priest again, and then we will and then maybe we'll do one more and just get the full context of her, because we got everybody else. Alright, ma'am, I'm really sorry about this, but I kind of feel like you didn't deserve this, but maybe you did kill a baby. Maybe it was suffering. We don't know. Maybe the baby was suffering and she put it out of its misery. It is medieval times. So there is not much you can do with the baby's suffering. We got this. Just talked about Gavin. Haven't seen him. We go again. She says no witchcraft in my herbs. And then I don't know that we went any further past this, so this might be new beyond here. And we rip all their tongues out, but they talk really well. When my love returns, ye will regret the hands ye laid upon me. Tell ye the evil that besets this village is the grasp of the priest. Real, true. I seen him dancing a jig with imps in that kirk of his. I think you mean slugs. Making merriment and cavorting with all manner of beasties. When have you seen this? Oh, all the time, sir. I'm sure he is the witch ye seek. Yeah, we already hang him. We hung him in another timeline. We hanged him. Or perchance that mad old crone in the woods. Men who walk in there never to return. She says she turns them into the trees. My love entered the woods and has nigh returned. Ah, so the old lady was just talking more babble about how she turns people into trees, and then the priest killed the guy and buried him under a tree and thus turned him into a tree. And so she's like, that's like confirming it and blaming the old lady. But the old lady we know didn't do that one, so we can assume potentially that the old lady is not a witch and just is crazy. Obviously she could have turned other people into trees, but I think we're saying no. I think the priest is at fault still. I ken she's turned him to a tree. So we know that's not sure. The priest did it. One more. Ye are my confessor. I admit I am the witch, and I did try to end that vile priest at the behest of my master. I finally swept a wee bit cursed belladonna in his wine. Retribution for the way his tensile hands groped me as a baron, and the looks he still gives me now. Okay, so this is just confirming that the priest is fucked up even more, because he was just a creep when she was younger too. See? He's saying that he lost her as a child as well. So very bad priest, extra bad priest. And she says, oh yeah, I tried to... I think she's just confessing this probably because we're torturing her so much. Old Griselda helped me at it. Did she? She may be bound for Bedlam, but she kens where to find Belladonna in the woods, so she knows where to find Belladonna in the woods. So that's still not anything to do with witches, though. I think you might have just tried to poison an evil man, which is honestly... That's chill with me, we'll let that slide. She be the grand high witch, turns men to trees and all. Well, not more so than the priest does, to be fair. I think we just hang... See, this is the turn people to the trees one. But to be honest, this is still the priest. That was actually so interesting that we got that one, because this one's supposed to be about the crone, but we reinterpreted it to be about the priest because we had different information, which is actually so cool for it to be a prophetic dream like that we operated on different information and made a different conclusion out of it. And I remember I literally said, this guy doesn't look like any of the people in the village because the closest person is the blacksmith, but he doesn't have the jaw thing. And it doesn't really make sense for it to be the blacksmith. And he's not wearing priest robes. And he's not all hairy. And so I was like, this doesn't look like anyone from the village, and it's because it isn't. it's the Gavin guy. Alright, hanging the priest again. Get fucked. Get fucked, father. Actually, can we double hang him? Can we hang him twice, make it hurt more? Because all we've gained is even more knowledge that he's a bad person. We already thought he was a bad person, but we've doubled down on that, man. Fuck the priest. But do you see Charlemagne's law? What I was telling you guys before about how to guess villains. If there's a priest, he's probably evil. I was right. I was dead on. So what we're gathering is there's no real evidence of actual witchcraft, but there are evil people. So I think tortured. I think we just need to torture Violet just to see everything that she says. Because maybe she was mad at her sheep dying, so she tried to like make him look like a witch or something by having a sheep head or something. I don't know. Maybe she did do something messed up with her lambs, trying to frame him for something. But regardless, nobody's as evil as the priest, so we hang him every time. Yeah, we learned this one already. This is where she talks about the blacksmith some more. We do know that the blacksmith did try to do something weird. He did try to convene with Satan to kill her sheep. But that doesn't mean that he actually summoned wolves. We have to operate on the hard confessions and hard evidence that we have. And the only persons that actually make sense is the priests. Everybody else just says, I tried to get Satan to do something, but it doesn't necessarily mean that. Yeah, we got this one too. Technically, kind of... I wonder, what if the powder that he got and whatever he was using had some sort of debilitating effect on his jaw, and he did it to himself? And then her saying he traded his jaw to hurt my sheep was like kind of on the right track, just she wasn't saying it right. She didn't actually understand what happened. And so her saying that is like kind of right, but not in the way that she meant it to be. That could be interesting. I wonder if there's any like chemicals that would have an effect on one's like muscles like that. There's gotta be, right? Because people have like mercury poisonings and stuff like that, right? And it's a flash of bright light, so it makes me think like magnesium powder. We're just like talking about all this casually while torturing a lady. We're just talking to ourselves. We're talking into our little tape recorder. While we're just slowly tightening the thumb screws, talking to ourselves like we're Agent Dale Cooper. I admit I made lies about the blacksmith. Yeah, we know this one. She forgot to close her fence. So we go one more and get her final confession. See if she did anything else messed up. I confess to being the witch. Please torture me no more. I slaughtered my own sheep in sacrifice to the devil himself. It was a curse to drop that flapping jaw from the blacksmith and end his insufferable yapping. Hang me now so I may be rid of this awful place. Foul witch, you'll hang soon enough. Okay, so what we're getting here then is if you torture everybody enough, they will all confess. So you can be right without actually determining the real crime that occurred, which is the priest's crime. You can be right just by being overly zealous with torture. You can go down the wrong path, which is another interesting thing mechanically. So it seems like most of them actually do tie back into that. So if you interpret the dreams correctly, like we kind of did in our first run, you can get onto the right track by interpreting them a certain way. So they are kind of prophetic dreams in that way. What if we just keep torturing the same person? That's what I'm curious about now. We're experimenting with the game. But we'll stop in a sec. I just feel like we've gotten everything out of her that we need. Therefore, what if we go one more? Like my gamer brain needs to know. Sorry, ma'am, you gotta go back in the Pillywinkles because Charlemagne's... Ah, yeah. See, so eventually they cut off. So if you torture everybody for a full day, they'll give you everything you need to know. But the last one will be some sort of confession, even if it's a confession to something that necessarily wasn't accurate. So you can push them too far and coerce some sort of like, well, a coerced confession, which is interesting. Everybody will claim to be the witch if you push them far enough, which again is what the game is trying to do thematically, so it fits that. So I think when they say, yeah, I did it, I am the witch, I think they're saying, yeah, I did something wrong, but not necessarily, there's not necessarily any actual credence to the witchcraft aspect of it, regardless of what they are confessing. Because some of them are confessing things that they did wrong. So maybe she did. But it's ambiguous because we can't truly know. Maybe she did try to do something bad to the blacksmith, but it doesn't necessarily make it true. And maybe he did try to do something bad to her, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it was anything supernatural that either of them did. The crone might just be insane, and maybe she does think she is a witch, but she is just losing her mind, so it doesn't make her harmful. She might still just be harmlessly trying to do weird things to people. She potentially may have killed the baby if it was like deformed or unhealthy, or maybe out of fear of something else. But ultimately she seems like she was probably the biggest victim in the whole thing. And her confession of being a witch isn't necessarily true. She confesses to trying to kill the priest, but she was justified in doing so, to be fair, because he probably should be killed. In fact, we killed him in our playthrough, so we can't really say that she did much wrong by just trying to poison him with belladonna, which isn't really witchcraft. That's just putting poison in someone's food. And she helped because she knew where the belladonna was, but that doesn't make her a witch either. She just knew where the belladonna was because she lives in the woods. So again, nobody really has any hard evidence of witchcraft. They just have some minor crimes they may have committed, and I guess potentially she might have killed a baby, but if the baby was truly suffering, we can't know. So it's a bit ambiguous on that one. She might have done something bad. She might not. But regardless, the priest is the one that did the most bad stuff, so he deserves to hang. And we pieced that together. So good detective work, everybody. We did it on our first playthrough. We got the witch, and by that we just mean a regular old criminal. So in a way, hang on, let's go over here. Now that we're done with this game. In a way, our whole thing where we were like, where I was just treating it like it was a detective story rather than hunting a witch, it was actually kind of dead on, because we were just solving a detective story and we weren't really looking for a witch. So just treating it like we were Rust Coal or something like that ended up being more accurate because we just actually sussed out the murder. And we didn't overly torture anybody that we didn't need to. I think we kind of had a pretty optimal playthrough there. I think we kind of nailed it. So confirmed, writing stuff down, it does help, chat. I think we pieced that together pretty naturally. I like that game. I give that a stamp of approval, and highly suggest you give it a try for yourself. Because it's a very cheap game. It's very, very cheap on Steam, so give it a try. Because I imagine that a lot of that like interesting animation and stuff was probably a lot of work. And it all looked really cool. Very, very good like folk horror vibes. And I like folk horror. So highly approved. Also really, really good dedication to dialect. I liked that a lot. And just giving you the option to just play it in the Scots English was nice. I like that a lot. And giving the glossary in case you were confused. All that's like completely unnecessary, but enhanced the atmosphere so much. Everybody's like, when you read the dialogue, you could hear their voices, which I always appreciate. So overall, yeah, I really liked it. That was really cool. I always say that I like a game that rewards me for paying attention and doing actual detective work. Now, obviously, all we had to do was just kind of torture those people to get that, but we did genuinely follow a route through that first playthrough. So you could have just blindly stumbled across it and still got the same answer we did, and you could have just tortured that lady enough. We could have just tortured Lilius enough to make her talk about how evil the priest was, and that would have got us the same thing. But I think we kind of minimized harm in our playthrough. We didn't torture people that much and still came to the same conclusion. So I kind of feel like it did reward us for our detective work in a way, because we were on to the priest before the game outright told us that the priest was messed up. And I really like the prophetic dream thing, because not only were they really gorgeously animated, like really, really well done, and really creepy and vague enough to be like, what? But also kind of match some of the vibes of the characters. But I also liked that we could like interpret them in a lot of different ways, and that the way that we just happened to interpret ours did lead us to the right answer. And I kind of appreciate that, because they could have led you astray totally. We could have saw the blacksmith one, we could have saw the shepherd one and just interrogated them a whole bunch, and then even hanged the blacksmith if we'd ignored the priest, right? But just the way that we interpreted them led us to the priest and led us to dig deeper on the priest, and then he confessed. And so it's really interesting how that can kind of lead you on different paths based on how you interpret them. So overall, a very small game for sure. And like very like tinily contained. It's not a very like sprawling game or anything like that, but I don't think it needed to be. I think it was effective at the story it was trying to tell, and fun. It was cool. Really, really stylish. Really, really well made. The pixel art was really good too. I keep talking about the like little cutscenes and the dreams and the kind of claymation-esque stuff, which I don't know if it was like truly claymation or maybe models, like 3D models made to look like claymation and animated at low frame rates. I don't really know how it was made, but I'm just calling it claymation because that's the style it evokes. But regardless of how it was made, it still looked really great and was still probably a lot of work. So really, really well done stuff. But the pixel art was good too. All the little like environments were really atmospheric. The music was really great. I approve. This was a really good short game. The kind of game that you just play in one night and just kind of have a spooky experience. Highly recommended. It's a very good Halloween game. So yeah, I'm not too sure about what we're going to be doing for the rest of the week. Our Halloween month that we were doing with the gang is on hold for a bit because of their circumstances, which if you're familiar with them, I'm sure that you're already familiar with that. It's not really my place to talk about it, so I'll leave that to their end of things, but it's on hold for the time being. And so I'm just going to be filling some of those spots with my own single player horror stuff. There's a few more games I want to try out. But as for this specific week, it's Canadian Thanksgiving. Some of you know I'm a Canadian skeleton. And so this weekend's going to be busy for me. So there definitely won't be anything Saturday, Sunday, and probably not Monday as well. Might be back for some stuff on Tuesday, Wednesday, but it's hard to say. But as for Friday, I don't know. Friday's a bit up in the air. Maybe I'll do something tomorrow, but Friday I might start prepping some stuff because there's a couple different... I like to cook and I like to provide a lot of the meal aspects of Thanksgiving, so as much as I can. So I might be starting to cook some stuff early so that I don't have to be doing as much on the day of, because there's enough to do on the day of. So I might be cooking a few things that can be cooked early, so I might be starting that on Friday and Saturday. So we'll see. This might be a bit of a shy Charlemagne week. There might not be too many streams, but that's all right. We'll have a lot of spooky stuff towards the end of October, because we'll definitely do some streams around Halloween, probably one on Halloween. So never fear, we'll get some spooky stuff done. And I do think that maybe Gaunts will be on hold for a little bit as well, just because of aforementioned stuff. Plus also some busyness with some schedules too. But if that's true, if Gaunt is truly going to be on hold for a few weeks, then I might just whip up a little spooky Halloween D&D thing to do. Because I love Halloween. I like D&D. That's not a surprise. So maybe we'll just whip up something kind of horror-esque for Halloween. If we truly are going to have to take a break from Gaunts. And especially since I don't have all the other streams, since we're keeping that on hold for a little bit. I'll have more time to work on it, so maybe I'll just spend some time doing that. And we'll get some, maybe a candle tree or maybe something else, just something Halloween-y. Anyways, that's what's coming up. It's going to be a little bit touch and go for this next few days for me, so I can't really say for sure when we're streaming. So just keep an eye on my Twitter, and I'll post notifications about it. But yeah, more horror games to come, and maybe some D&D stuff. Thank you for watching. Thank you for keeping me company while we do some detective work. This is a fun game. I'm really glad we played it. I liked it a lot. Definitely not as emotionally devastating as Mouthwashing, but I had more fun during this one because I wasn't being depressed by the other one. Though this actually kind of had a similar story, didn't it? Now that I realize it. Man. Anyways. Good game. I approve. Have a nice night. Thank you for watching. Take care, and I will see you guys when I see you. It'll be, if it's not tomorrow or the next day, if it's not Thursday or Friday, then it'll be probably around Tuesday-ish. It's a busy weekend for the skeleton. Anyways, take care. Sleep tight. Go to bed. It's bedtime. Go to bed, or I'll accuse you of being a witch. Thank you for watching.